Oh, no, no, don't put that. I'll get it. Okay, fine. Without sugar. Okay, sure, got it. We learned this week a mimer, Yehuda ati yedu chaychecha. So it's just an interesting thing. I'm not going to repeat the mimer. It was a geschmacka mimer. The Rebbe asked, and the Alter Rebbe explains that Reuven, Shimon, Levi, what's their thing in Avodas Hashem, and yedu chaychecha, that through the Avodas Hashem of your brother, you get the Avodah of Yehuda. So why didn't the Alter Rebbe go on to explain all the other Shvatim, the 12 Shvatim? Thank you very much. Amen. So the Rebbe says an interesting part in the Maimer that the younger brothers is not a chiddush that they have to that they have to respect Yehuda because they're younger brothers. But Reuven, Shimon, and Levi are older than him, so have a minute that they don't have to be Yedu Chasecha. Mashmalon that Yehuda is the highest level in Avodas Hashem. Explain the Maimer why, but. So without the Rebbe's word, I would have said that you only need Reuven, Shimon, Levi to get to Yehuda. But the Rebbe says, no, that's not the way the Rebbe thinks of it. It's that, no, you need really, Yehuda is the highest of all the Shvatim. You need Bem as the void of all the Shvatim. And the reason why the Alter Rebbe only said Reuven, Shimon, Levi is because the other one's not a Chiddush that they have to respect Yehuda. They're younger brothers. But Reuven, Shimon, Levi are older brothers. Have I mean that they don't have to respect them. What we respect doesn't mean I give you a cookie. Respect means beruchnius that they're striving to go up to his level. Avodas Hashem. That's going up. It's like Shabbos. We had a family from Istanbul. You know, we have one of the families connected to Beis Menachem Mendel. So I was telling them that there's in Izmir, there's a tzaddik that's very, Reb Chaim Palaji. He wrote so many songs. If we get a chance today, he has a whole tshuva about going up to making aliyah in Eretz Yisroel and about the brachas. So if we get to it. If we don't get today, we'll do it next week. So he writes. Let's say he writes. Even though he lived a place about 200 years ago, the Arabs Adayom. The respect is that you can go to Izmir, that his house. I walked by his house and I see the doors open. There was an Arab washing the floors, the Kedushas HaTzadik, and they maintain his kever, v'chulu v'chulu. Anyway, the Chaim Pelagi says that that he does to live when he knows that there's Eibishter. He always tries Shemayim. Spirituality is always above him. So he's always trying to get there. Materialism, it's under my feet. That's not what I'm striving for. That's not what I need. That's not what I want. What I'm striving for, I'm always trying to go higher. Things. Anyway, when we say that the brothers are respecting, it means that we're going beruchnias. So Yehuda is Yeducha, all the brothers are, and the Chiddush is Reuven, Shimon, Levi. Anyway, so I wanted to explain now that we're Sunday morning. So I said I'll explain what Shulchan Aruch says. The Gemara says that Kavod Savicha v'Esimecha. Es is the extra word. Es Achicha Godel. So right. So there was really machloikas that the Birkei Yosef talks about barichas. He brings that the Shvus Yaakov says it's only male and only the oldest in the family. Only if he's male and only the oldest in the family. And he says, why? Because he has Ptishnayim from the father. It's like the Loi Mishpat HaBechoira. So it's sort of a part of the Bechoira. And he quotes a Ramban. And the Birkei says he's misquoting the Ramban. And the Fakir, the Ramban, the sort of Darshin and Time in the Crow, explains what the idea is. And he says that the parents are makpid, the father is makpid, that the younger siblings should respect the older siblings. I don't know, maybe society today is not exactly that way, but that's the way that Ramban says.
Set the examples. You want him to be the example for me.
Could be. Yeah, it could be even today. There's a little bit. It's not talking about no parent. It could be soivel that the children are fighting. That's the biggest agmas nefesh when the kids are bickering or fighting. But we're talking about COVID is a separate thing. So he says that the derech of parents is that they want that the younger children should respect the older ones. So that's it. So therefore, three nekudas says the Beki Yosef. So from here we learn it's not only to the oldest brother, but anyone older than you in the family. Number two, it doesn't have to be only male, also female, because it's nothing to do with the Yerusha. And number three, that it's only b'chayim, only in the lifetime of the father and the mother. When the father and mother passed away, this mitzvah doesn't exist. And then he brings.
Does it have the same halachas as for a kibbutz that you stand up when the parent comes in, you get the water, you don't use their first name. Obviously, we use our siblings' first name.
Right. That's a good question.
So, what does it amount to?
Yeah. Well, how much is that covered? What's the shear to that covered?
How did we do it?
It's interesting. In the very long Birkei Yosef, he doesn't go into that.
And that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
What's the halacha about that?
Exactly. Where's the
nitty-gritty?
You're right. He brings from that Arizal says a chidush, and that even after the parents pass away, you have to give cover to older siblings. Okay. Someone asked a question this week. Alan's mother is being oiled to Eretz Yisroel, and it's an unbelievable aliyah. And David shall help every one of us should be oiled. Bevis Mashiach Tzedkenu. There's no question that we're being oiled to Eretz Yisroel. And there's a couple of misplaced people in the Middle East. We can all ship them to Brooklyn.
Siberia.
Anyway, to Siberia to Brooklyn. Cuba. We're moving to Eretz Yisroel. So the question was, is there a special bracha to make when you are oiled to be mishtakeya, to live in Eretz Yisroel? And the second question is, do you make the bracha shechionu when you come to Eretz Yisroel? So
and when would you make it if you do?
Right. So the emphasis that, like I mentioned, that there's a lot of poskim that talk about it, because you can imagine that throughout the years people were oiled to Eretz Yisroel. So both questions are dealt with. The shechionu question is more a dealt with question in classic Teves, but the other question is also dealt with. So first, let's read a shtickle Rambam. The Rambam writes, this is the second piece over here. When they came to Eretz Yisroel, when they came over the border, they would kiss the border, and they would kiss the racks, and they would roll in the sand. This is continuing the Rambam. Next halacha. Person lives in Eretz Yisroel, if they forgive it, all the sins. Shenemar Val Yomer Shochin Chalisi Am Hayosheba Nesu Yavan. I feel a hollow bar Bam Zechel Chaylam Abba. V'chol HaKavod B'Niskapar Lo Ikilu Amokim Shubo Mizbeach Kapora. Shenemar V'chiper Ad Masa Amoy. V'foronu Nesu Yomer Alama Aladom Etzmei Thomas. Ve'inu Domer Kalata Mechaim L'Kalata Achamoyze. However, it's not the same if a person goes into Eretz Yisrael in his lifetime than if he just going there after his body is brought there after he passes away. Which is the whole of this week's parsha, Parshas Vayechi. Okay. Kesef Mishnah brings on the previous halacha, but Seif Ksuvas Daf Kuf Yud Beis Lebaba Menashe Kipi de Apod. When he came to Akoi from Chutz La'aretz, he would kiss the rocks. Because the Rishon will have a discussion, is Akoi really a part of Eretz Yisroel? And some hold, no, it's not part of Eretz Yisroel, only because it was Bekibush Rishon, not Bekibush Sheni, but still it was Chibas Eretz Yisroel, because even though it didn't belong now to Kedushas Eretz Yisroel, but originally it belonged to Eretz Yisroel. When Mashiach will come and belong, others say no, that there's parts of Akui that is part of Eretz Yisroel, also in the Kibusheni, also for the oily Bavel. The guest Eshkos Rabbeinu Menashke al Tchum Eretz Yisroel. Hainu Akui shoyis Sev Tchum Eretz Yisroel. This is Su Rebbe Chia Bar Gamda Migander Be'ofer Shenema Kirotz Avadachas Avona V'Safar Yichaneinu. So really, the Rambam brings it as one, but in the Gemara is two stories. Rebbe Abba used to kiss the rocks, and Rebbe Chia Bar Gamda used to roll in the offer. A few points before we Why kissing the rocks? Why not kissing the sand? One was kissing the rocks, the other one was rolling in the sand. So there's a few geschmack things over here that I found. Also, number one, few really geschmack things. The Imre Emes really wanted to move to Eretz Yisroel. It's very sad. He wanted to move to Eretz Yisrael, and his chassidim prevailed upon him to stay in Europe. But he did go to visit Eretz Yisrael. I mean, he lost so many family members, so many chassidim, but he really believed that it was time to move to Eretz Yisrael. It's it's an unbelievable sad story. Like if the Eibishter feared the Welt, the Eibishter wanted, like if you think about it, why you're like, why couldn't he say, okay, listen, I want to go to Israel, I'm going to Israel, and he would have had, I don't know, at least 100,000 Jews would have went with him. At least he was the biggest Rebbe before.
When was he
David
alive?
Emes.
When was this around? What time period?
He wanted to go to Israel about 10 years before the Holocaust. He had an unbelievable.
The British had limits on how many Jews they were letting each year. They weren't going to let 100,000 Jews come in.
Maybe Hashem would have changed the cheshbon if all these Jews would have tried to go.
If a Rebbe goes somewhere, the Chassidim want to go in. Squeeze their way in. It wasn't meant. Anyway.
Was he killed in the Holocaust?
You saved him. Nissim ben the flaws. Nissim ben the flaws. The Nazis wanted to get after him. The way they saved him was unbelievable. It was only by bribing Nazi officers and taking him on a train directly from Warsaw to Italy, to the port of Trieste. From there on a boat. There was inside job.
Went to Turkey and then
not Turkey, to Italy. From Italy, he went to Eretz Yisroel. First time he went to Eretz Yisroel, which was 1931, one of the Mishpacha asked him, "Do you already have all your documents?" So he said, 2 documents are still missing. He says, "I'm missing the document of Neki Kapayim and Bar Lebo." Because it says, "Biyala Bahar Hashem, Neki Kapayim, Bar Lebo." So it said that's the 2 documents he's still missing. And also one of his chassidim, which was very loyal to him, the Regeret Rebbe really believed that the Eretz Yisrael is the place to be. Happens to be right now. The Regeret Rebbe family, the Regeret Rebbes, are from the wealthiest landowners in Eretz Yisrael, Pshuti. So he told one of his chassidim that there's unbelievable business opportunities in Eretz Yisrael. There's unbelievable treasures. So he said, I'll tell me what you want me to do. So he says, no, there's treasures of Yiddish Shamayim. The only way I can get it is by me going there. The truth is that this is from Gerech Sidim. This is an article that was written b'Mois Shivim Shana Talkusai, but they write that he actually had in his mind. He had a shaila if he should make shachionu, and the Kollel decided not to. And what he did was he bought hitim, and he was mafresh tumas amaitzis. And the first time he did the mitzvah tumas amaitzis, for that he made shachionu. So pause a little bit the shachionu. We'll get back to that. So back to my question about why the Tanoim were kissing the rocks. So Rav Kook said about that a person kisses the sand. So every nation, they have a land that's very dear to them. The soil is like where everything grows from. Chidush the Chacham said was they were kissing even the rocks. That the rocks, nothing could grow from the rocks, even though, so they were kissing it. I mentioned once, there's I'm looking at an article written by Rav Kook people. So he was very upset that the Frierdiker Rebbe, he met the Frierdiker Rebbe when the Frierdiker Rebbe came to Eretz Yisroel. The Frierdiker Rebbe told him that he can't go to Mevaka Kivri Ovis in Bolshevik. So therefore he came to Eretz Yisroel.
Yisroel is still Eretz Chayim. They actually got to go there to the new thing.
But the Rafuk was it was a Kohen, though. Rafuk was a Kohen.
Right.
They say for an exception for Kibbutz Hadikim, even a Kohen can go.
Yaakov Meis.
A Kohen.
Anyway, Rav Kook didn't like it. He said every step in there, Yisrael is a kedusha, and if Abba and Menashe keep the Yaakov. But whatever, I'm just showing you the. I'm just showing you the conversation over here. So we do see that there is a minhag that we do keep, that's brought in the Ramah in your day Siman Shin Samar Gimel, that Meisim even Mechutzlar, that we put on them a little bit sand of Eretz Yisrael. And there is a Rashi in Tehillim Kuf Beis that says Hamedesh Agoda, when Yechonyo went to Golus, he took racks from Yerushalayim and sand from Yerushalayim, and he built a Beis Hamedrish and a Beis HaKnesses in Bavel, because he wanted to use the racks from Eretz Yisrael Dafka. So anyway, back
We have to buy Israeli stone.
What does that? It's a little expensive, but they're nice. You
One goes
Mm,
to
send-
bring back one stone and we'll make it.
I'm not sure you could do it that way, but if someone's shipping a pallet of stones or 2 pallets of stones, I mean, people do it. There are shuls in America that do it. They get a container or half a container being sent from Haifa.
Yeah.
It takes a few weeks. It gets here. It's low in the place of It's not the most complicated thing to do.
We'll speak to Ariel Mizrahi.
Yeah, that's not.
I know this is minhag, but it doesn't hold up like the halacha, because it's one of the halacha. You take the earth from Eretz Yisrael to Gutzlavis. It's no longer up Eretz Yisrael.
I know, but still, but the Rashi does. I know it's a good question you're asking. It's a good question. Well, the Rashi does bring from Medrash Agoda about Yechonya that he did so. So I mean, Yechonya knew that in Hilchas Chala, Mishnah Chala about the sand that what's that? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, so there is. I mean, we do see. And we have a minhag brought Shulchan Aruch, like a kiss at kissing a mezuzah, and there's brought also the Mishnah Berurah brings that there were tzaddikim that used to kiss the sukkah and the
It's
esrog.
the kotel.
So okay. Anyway, but there's a famous story. The Briskerov came to Eretz Yisroel, and he did not kiss the earth of Eretz Yisroel. So they asked him, how come he didn't kiss the earth of Eretz Yisroel? So the Befeidish brought the halach in the Rambam. So he said the Rambam was medayek gedoyle chachamim amenashkem al tchum Eretz Yisroel. Only the gedoyle chacham. But for me, it would be Yuada. He probably had other reasons, but anyway, he said for me it would be like Gaiva. So they asked Reb David Soloveitchik, his son, who passed away 2 years ago. Versteinisch. The Gemara says, and the Rambam brings, Gedoyle chachamim anoisem pruta laoni koidem tefila v'akich mispalim shenema ani b'tzedek erz upanacha. So if I'm not from the Gedoyle chachamim, I shouldn't give tzedakah in the morning before davening. So Reb David Soloveitchik said, "Now, come on, how can you compare? Here there's an oni. Oni needs tzedakah. So you makayim mitzvah tzedakah. But when it comes to kissing the earth of Eretz Yisrael, it's out of an unbelievable feeling of the kedusha, that I feel the kedusha of Eretz Yisrael in such an intense way.
He's in.
So he didn't feel that he didn't feel that that he's on that level, that he's that's what they call briska shtick. I'm sorry for I can't say I'm apple because maybe I'm not going to fall asleep tonight. So but that's what he said, that he didn't feel that he was on that level, that he's feeling chibas Eretz Yisrael. By the way, I just want to point out that the Briskerov did come to Eretz Yisrael. He ran away from the Nazis, Yamach Shema. So it could be he had in his mind that, if had I gone in 1935, 1937, and there was a lot of tzaddikim that had it in their mind, like the Rebbe's father, Nabal passed. He had the rabbi in Eretz Yisrael tried to save him. So they sent him that he's going to be chief rabbi at Tel Aviv Yaffa, which is a Kosher position. They sent him in the early 30s. And he decided that because that this might save his life, so he doesn't want to go, because How could he use Kedushas Eretz Yisroel to save his life? So therefore, it's not appropriate to use it. It's like a very funny way of thinking. Because he felt his life was in danger, so now I'm going to use Kedushas Eretz Yisroel to move to Eretz Yisroel to save my life. No, I can't use Kedushas Eretz Yisroel to save my life. Briskerov, the Nazis were after him, mamish. They were looking for him. There were placards in Brisk. Where are you? Whatever with his name. They were looking for him. They were looking for him, Dafka. And Baruch Hashem, Ben Nisim, he was able to go away. He moved to Eretz Yisrael under those circumstances. Maybe he felt, obviously, he felt Kedush Eretz Yisrael more than me and you, and he was a lamdan and a tzaddik. And anyway, but that's the story. Anyway, one more Nakuda. There is a, if you see the pictures when they're signing the Declaration of Independence, what they call in Israel Megillat Ha'atzmaut for the state of Israel, there is a psayid metakomazber that sits there in the front, a yid with a little beard, he's like doesn't look like he's echad mebnei chabura. He clearly see that he's a religious man. His name was Rabbi Yehuda Leib Fishman. He was a Talmud of the Aruch HaShulchan. He was a Moedik Talmud Chacham. And obviously, in the Hamish crowds, he's not considered a Gavra Rabbah, but he was probably the father of religious, not say the father, but religious Zionism. Rabbi Yehuda Leib Fishman changed his name to Rabbi Yehuda Leib Maimon. I think he held the position as the first what's called minister of religion at Yisrael. So he was a Talmud Chacham, and he wrote an article about this when he went to Eretz Yisroel for the first time. How come he said them find that any of the Rishonim should have a bracha? It's a mitzvah.
made aliyah.
He said he brings the Ramban. The Ramban says that it's a mitzvah, even bisman hazeh, to be miyashav Eretz Yisroel. So there is a famous Tosfos in Ksubas Daf Kuf Yud that says that bisman hazeh there's sakonas drochim and there's mitzvahs tluis beretz Yisrael and there's kama onshim, and the whole discussion of this. Who wrote this Tosfos? Is it authentic Tosfos? And the halachas like Tosfos? But anyway, if you pass on like the Ramban that it's a mitzvah also bisman hazeh to be miyashav Eretz Yisrael, so mitzvah zisher Eretz Yisrael is a mitzvah. Why would there not be a bracha? So he gives three answers. And by the way, the later, they had asked that Chaim Kanievsky or others, many of them were machavan to one or the second or the third of his answers. I mean, all three of them make sense. So he gave three answers. One is that the mitzvah, the Eretz Yisroel says that certain mitzvahs have a bracha, some not. Why? He says mainly it's a mitzvah that has a time. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't do it. A mitzvah tamidi is a mitzvah that's 24/7. Like the mitzvah that's like Amunah, which is 24/7, Ava, Yida, these mitzvahs that are constant 24/7, there's no bracha on it. So said that Maimon that Yishuv Eretz Yisrael is a 24/7 mitzvah, so therefore there's no bracha on it. Another teretz he brings from the Aruch HaShulchan. The Aruch HaShulchan says that any mitzvah that's logic, it makes sense, it's logical, so there's no bracha on it. Only mitzvahs that we do because the Eibusha told us to do it. Okay, now it's already, you smell a little bit of Zionism in this teretz. He said that for the Jewish people to have a homeland that makes sense. I'm not sure if it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. I'm not. This is already a teretz. He says it makes sense. Al pi seichel. It makes sense because if this way the Jews have their own land and they have security, v'chulu. I'm not sure if it does have seichel. It doesn't have seichel. But anyway, that's the second answer. His third answer is a beautiful answer. He says that the Zacharayim that ask, why don't we make a bracha on the mitzvah of the Shalosh Shudas b'Shabbos and so on. So he says he can answer that there is, if a person eats Suda Shabbos, so if he's eating it mamish, nothing to do with me, not because I'm hungry and the chicken is tasty, the kugel is geschmack, nothing to do with the kugel or the apple pie. It's all l'shem kedushas Shabbos. So then taka there would be a bracha. But if I'm eating the kugel and the apple pie because I like kugel and the apple pie, so how can I make a bracha? I check it the Shana Mitzvah. It's on a lechel Suda Shabbos. I'm not eating it for Shabbos. I'm eating it because I like the kugel and I like the apple pie. So he said, yeah?
Make a kiddush.
Shachion. Yes, asking a good kasha.
So it's that makes sense, makes logic.
Yeah, but these saying brichas and mitzvahs would only be a mitzvah that you don't enjoy. That's his teretz. You're asking a kasha on him. Okay? He's not
We do say that mitzvahs law has a menu, but we do make brachas on mitzvahs on the Torah.
right.
And
He's saying his teretz is that a bracha, a mitzvah, that there is a lot of pleasure to it. So Chazal was scared if they'll make a bracha and you're not doing it for the mitzvah, you're doing it for your pleasure. So then you made a bracha levatolim. So he says, moving to Eretz Yisroel, there is not only a mitzvah, but there's an immense pleasure for the Yid to live in his homeland. So therefore, Chachamim didn't make a takonet for him that bracha. Okay, look. Bottom line is, Takazoi, there is no in the Rishonim or Acharonim, we don't find anywhere that there should be a special bracha for coming to Eretz Yisrael. But definitely, we see that there were many, the Adayim, there's a lot of people when they come to Eretz Yisrael that they kiss the ground in Eretz Yisrael. That's a loch in the
it
Rambam.
was a lot easier when they used to take a bus from the plane
I know.
to the terminal. Now, plane attaches itself to the terminal, so you be anywhere.
Right. It used to be you go down the steps, so you can bend down, you kiss the floor, the tarmac, it's clean, not so clean, who cares? But now
And by the time you get out of the building with all your luggage, you start kissing the ground. It may look a little weird.
right, I hear, yeah, true.
When I first stayed on the
Every time, right?
No, listen, but every time I returned to Eretz Yisrael, after being outside for 30 days, as soon as the plane was over Eretz Yisrael, I could see the houses. I made the bracha of Matziv Gevul Almana.
Right. I'm true. That you can make. Amos. We learned something very interesting this week. Someone asked a shaila. And so we learned on Wednesday night that there's a din of bizui mitzvah. If there's a candle that's dedicated to mitzvah, you're not allowed to use that candle. If there's candles in front of there's 5 candles on the Zon today. Minik Chabad is to put 5 candles. If it's for your side, you're not allowed to walk over with a cigarette and take out from the light. Huh? No, if it's after the mitzvah was done, you're allowed to. So if the davening is finished and the person yet didn't blow out the candles, say that.
What about the using the 24-hour candles for the
We can't.
So Achish and Nasa Mitzvosam probably be mutter. Well, yeah, because it's already Nasa Mitzvosam. Probably. Someone asked a very good shaila about this. Someone asked a good shaila. But the time is short, so I'm not going to get well. Mitzvah, we'll leave it for when someone has a very amoridic shaila. But the emphasis, it's this halacha brings to mind the thing that there's a mitzvah not to be mevaza the mitzvahs. We learn it from Kisei Adam, that just like by Kisei Adam, the Torah says that you shouldn't be machasa beregel, you shouldn't do it with your foot, because blood, people don't like blood, so you would think that you would just push some sand on it with your foot. No, you have to do it with your hand. And from this, the Gemara learns that every candle that's a candle shel mitzvah. And the truth is, today we don't have it so much. The Marshal spoke about it because in Europe, it was very hard for people to keep a candle in their house 24/7. So they would send the servant, the shivcha, to the Beis HaKnesses, because there's always lights in the Beis HaKnesses, there were chandeliers, there was a lot of candles in the Beis HaKnesses. And he said it's also because that's considered bizui mitzvah. So at the shias, people brought up, the marshal, the shul has Wi-Fi, the shul has plugs. Are you allowed to use it are you allowed to use it to plug your phone? Are you allowed to use the Wi-Fi at the shul? As long as the shul is paying for because we have the Zoom, we have the videos. So are you allowed to use the Wi-Fi of the Beis HaKnesses? Are you allowed to use the plugs in the Beis HaKnesses to so the answer is two things. Number one, that there's a chiddush from the Marshal, that the Marshal says that once the mitzvah is done, you are allowed to. So if you're taking away, if it's b'shas, the mitzvah is being done, in other words, b'shas atfila, you're talking not allowed to use. That's one thing. And another thing is, if a shul made extra plugs dedicated for people to be able to plug in their phones, that's already not to bezon the mitzvah, that's l'chatchila. But this mashal that I'm quoting, someone asked a geshmaka kash on it, but the time is short. We'll either next week or Wednesday. The Eibush shall help, and by the time we get to next week, that we're sitting together, we'll be ready in Yerushalayim HaKodesh, Bevias Mashiach Tzedkeinu, and we'll be judging about all the, not just about which brachas to make when Mashiach will come. We'll be judging about all kinds of unbelievable shilas that we're going to have to deal with. Tuma V'tada and Mitzvah Satluyas Be'eretz HaKodesh.
To the Wi-Fi, and it doesn't matter how much you're using. Like if the shul is paying for a gigabyte, then it's going to charge a lot more money.
The bottom line is, if the shul is doing it for people to benefit, it's not a design mitzvah. If you're using it, while the shul is using muscle, like we have these concerts, and they're plugged in, and it's b'shas atfila. If you plug it out, you're not allowed to do that.
So you have your phone charging while you're down.
No, if it's dedicated plugs for charge, allowed to. No? And Hekdesh could decide. And it's like, okay, if they want to put tissues on the table. Why? Because people will be moisture, people to come. The Hekdesh could decide to do sitting. Yeah, because they'll bring people to basic necessary. If it's done ladas.
Right. Permission warning.
Yeah.
So, Rabbi, should could I hold off with charging my phone? And
No, I said you should be part because we put the extra plug special for people
okay.
to do it.
Okay,
No, but there is a thing. If you remember earlier generation, you had the dial-up. And that's
Got
what
it.
we really thought.
Okay.
Same with Wi-Fi. The quality of the video can mess up if somebody says we can Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
No sense.
And how about now?
I don't know, the dial-up for sure. But no, but also, the other question is if it's fine.
Right. That's what I said. If the shul is